Hey there! Today we're going to paint some cottagecore inspired landscapes with acrylic gouache. Before we get started with painting, I just wanted to quickly mention something that's helpful for anyone wanting to get into journaling. This video is kindly sponsored by Reflectly, a very intuitive journaling app. As you can see, it has a very beautiful and simple design, and I love how cute the icon is. The journal is IA driven, which means that it learns more and more about you as you go along, and it becomes more personal as you're using it. You can either write long text or just do a quick check-in. This really removes the pressure that journaling often gives me, and it makes it so much more fun. As always, check the links in my description for more information. You can get the app for free, and you can also get a yearly access to Reflectly Premium for 60% off if you check out the link that I provided. Now let's get started with the actual painting of the video. And I did 3 paintings in this video. The first one that you can see now is a double page spread. I used Turner acrylic gouache and Staedtler synthetic brushes and my Moleskine watercolor sketchbook. As always, I try my best to link all of the products or similar products by the same brand if I can find them. So check out the description box. If it's not there, I might have forgotten it, but most likely it's just not available. So I always try my best to link everything for you, but I feel like if you don't have the exact same supply, you can still create something. You don't have to create the exact same things as I do. I just want to inspire you to create something, and you can always just get started with the products that you have at home right now and just have fun and enjoy painting. And I'm using acrylic gouache this time. If you're interested in the difference between acrylic gouache, water-soluble gouache, watercolors, and acrylic paints, so if you have no idea where the differences between all of those are, I have a video where I compare all of these, so check that video out if you don't really have an idea what I'm talking about here. But yes, here I'm just trying something new because I haven't done a lot of these paintings that are double page spread without any borders. So for me, this is a big sized piece. I know for a lot of people it's not too big, but yeah, for me it is, and I'm trying a landscape that's a little bit harder for me. I have these architectural parts in there and all of these straight lines that I didn't want to be completely straight because I just want this illustrative effect. And I also debated whether or not to make this piece into a Skillshare course, but then I thought it was just a little bit too complicated for a tutorial for beginners at least, and also I'm not as advanced with these kinds of paintings, so I didn't really want to make this a Skillshare course yet. But I am currently working on a gouache Skillshare course, and it's gonna be illustrative landscapes as well, just a little bit of a different style, and it will be online pretty soon. I will mention it once it is there. And I will probably make more Skillshare courses this year. I really want to focus on this more and just push myself a little bit to try new things as well. And this just is a style that I'm currently exploring that you can see here, and I am really happy with it. It was something new. It pushed me a little bit to also do a sketch, because most of the time I don't even do a sketch. I just go right in and draw a bunch of trees and all that stuff, and I just wanted to do something that takes a little bit more brain power, I guess. I really had to think where the windows go and where they stop and how everything really works here. And yeah, I guess that's the reason why I didn't put it in a Skillshare course in the end. And yeah, you can see this entire piece come to life more and more, and I was adding in more and more details. I'm sure I made some mistakes here and there, but I don't think that they're too visible. I mean, of course, you can see that some of the perspectives are a little bit off with the plant pot and stuff, but I don't really mind that. It adds to this illustrative style. And I was also playing around with the leaf texture. I did that a lot in this video, also with the coming pieces on the other page spread that I did. Just doing a lot of dots and using a lot of different green tones and just playing around with different plants. Some of you might already know that I really love plants. I have a lot of plants in my apartment, and this just makes me so happy to paint things like that, especially now in winter when everything is so dark and it is just brown outside and no greenery. Here you can see the first finished page spread. And yeah, so I was unboxing a new scented candle. I love to light up scented candles lately in my videos. They just give me this cozy vibe, and yeah, they add to the atmosphere. And this one smells like, I think it's supposed to smell like berries. It has a very sweet smell. And now I'm using the Moleskine watercolor sketchbook again and again, painting a landscape. This is more of a landscape now, and it's this spring scene with flowers. And at first I really hated this picture because the bottom part looks super messy and ugly, but later on I added flowers to it, and in the end I ended up loving it. But you just have to know that every piece, or a lot of pieces, have this ugly stage where they really look not like you want them to, and you just did the first layer and the details might still be missing. It's just not finished, and so it doesn't have to look finished. But for some reason I always want my piece to look good in every stage, and I just get a little bit anxious if it doesn't, because I know that I'm filming it and a lot of people see it, and especially if I record a tutorial or something, then I feel like, oh my god, it has to look good at all times. But it just doesn't. That's not the reality of it, especially if you're using a medium like gouache where you do a lot of layering, especially if you do a piece like this. I did a lot of layering here, and it really needs the details that it gets in the end. It does not thrive upon simplicity. It does not look as good now. It really needs the flowers that I added in later, and in the end I found out, hey, it looks good. So don't worry about your piece too much if you're not even finished yet. I guess that's something that I learned while doing this. Sometimes it looks really bad and it still turns out really good in the end, and even if it doesn't, you still learned something. And I guess that's the most precious part about it. And you just have to create art, even if it's bad art. Bad art is better than no art. That's what I'm always telling myself. And yeah, so I learned a lot while doing this. I guess I'm learning a lot lately, trying to do new things and push myself a little bit more. I feel like because of my channel and because I'm doing a lot of tutorials, I'm always doing these super simplified versions of the paintings that I actually want to do, just because I do a lot of beginner tutorials. And if I would do more of an intermediate tutorial, the tutorial would have to be super long, because I would have to go first layer, second layer and stuff like that. So the tutorial would be super long, and maybe I should just do those things on Skillshare. But yeah, I feel like I have to kind of pick a thing that I want to do more of and learn more about it. And I guess currently that's these kinds of landscapes. And then when I feel a little bit more confident about it, then I feel like I can teach it on Skillshare as well, because people on Skillshare, they have high expectations. You might think, oh my god, just get over it, just do it, your piece looks great. Yeah, it's not that simple when you do something on Skillshare, because people tend to be harsh because they paid money to watch it. I mean, I kind of get it, but also the most negative comments that I have are on some of my Skillshare courses, and I really force myself not to read them anymore, because it's really hard to create if you have those people in the back of your mind telling you that this is not easy to understand, that you don't even know what you're doing, and things like that. So I really have to not focus on these at all. So here's the finished first page on the right, and now we're going to do the one on the left. And yes, I always work from right to left, or most of the time I do, because I am left-handed, and people love to point that out in my comments as if I didn't know it already. Thank you for telling me. I would have completely missed the fact that I'm left-handed if you wouldn't tell me that in every other comment. I'm just being a little bit salty because I get this comment a lot. But yes, I work from right to left, because if the piece is not completely dry when I start with the next one, then I don't just put my hand in it all the time, and it's a lot easier like that. But I have found that I then put my phone on my art piece on the right, and when there's already something on there, then that might smudge everything, because I use my phone to record the other footage from the other perspective. So everything has its ups and downs, and you probably don't care about my filming process. And here we are moving on to the piece on the left side. I already started with it, and we have this kind of what do you call it, archway, this hole where you can walk through. It's not a door, but yeah, it's this architectural background kinda, and I think that it looks cool. It's simplistic enough for the foreground that I'm gonna add. I'm gonna paint a lot of trees and a lot of branches and leaves in the foreground, and I really love how this piece turned out. It really reminds me of summer, maybe summer in another country, Greece or something like that. Just fun things that we can't do right now, that it's winter and it's cold and we can't travel and everything. So these paintings really give me a lot of life and a lot of inspiration. I really need to do those and escape to these magical worlds. And also the cottagecore aesthetic trend has really, I don't know, it has infected me. I don't know how to say it. I'm just inspired by it a lot, so it's a positive thing. And I just want to create more pieces that are inspired by this aesthetic. It's a trend on TikTok, especially queer people want to move to the countryside, to a small cottage, have a vegetable garden, and live with their significant other. And if there was a little community of queer people on the countryside, I would definitely want to live there, because the issue that I have with the countryside is that people often tend to be a little bit less progressive and homophobic, and I don't want to live there. And yeah, I would love to do that if people weren't like that. So I guess I really understand this cottagecore trend, and I really love to paint all these pieces that have this kind of aesthetic. I guess it's just countryside pictures with little cottages in the background, like the one on the right. And I really love that it has a little bit of architecture on there because I'm not used to painting that, and I really want to do more of that. And I'm currently hunting for royalty-free reference pictures that incorporate those things, and I found a great photographer who does some of these. I think the pictures are on Pexels, which is a royalty-free website, so you can use those reference pictures, and I'm always considerate of that because I do YouTube videos and a lot of people see those, and if I use a reference picture that I don't have the rights for, then it's a little bit tricky. I have to really change it up a lot in order to be able to use it. So if I do pictures like that where I rely a lot on the reference, then I love to use those. Here you can see that I'm adding a lot of details. I'm playing around with different leaf shapes and just doing a lot of things. And this picture has a lot on it, but I kind of love it. The simplistic background and then all of the leaves in the foreground, and I really love greenery. It makes me so happy. I love plants, and the colorful oranges, I think those are oranges, in the foreground, they really make the piece pop. I think they were the last detail that it really needed, and now it's so sunny. It has these amazing summer vibes, and I'm really happy with how these two pieces turned out. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!